just really confident in our protocols and our approach and how we handle things around here. And it's a great credit to Doug Collins and Flea for just all the work that they put in, and to our guys for being disciplined, doing the right things.
Mike Clemens.
Hey, man, something, I was amazed by something Devontae said about how Aaron Rodgers, younger players will come up to me and he'll say, just follow my lead. Don't be nervous. It's going to be okay. But that at times you see Aaron Rodgers need a look from Mercedes or Devontae like he needs a little boost in confidence. And I just thought about your role. If you're trying to get your players to be kind of a buddy system, or what does a head coach do to challenge these guys to put in so many hours to prepare them, but at the same time, give them that confidence when they hit the field?
Yeah, I think that just comes with the work that you put in and stressing all the good things that each individual has done this year. And I do think that what's great about football is I think naturally, whether you're a coach or you're a player, you do put pressure on yourself because you want to go out there and perform well. But if you kind of take a step back and look around and see how many other guys are out there with you, and it alleviates some of that. So it's always great to have veteran leadership like Aaron, like Devontae, Mercedes, Corey Linsley. I could go on and on and on. Zadarius Smith. We've had a lot of guys that have gone through and played in big games, played in playoff games. So that always is comforting, especially for guys that are going to go out and play for the first time in a playoff game. Naturally, there are going to be a little bit more nerves because there's a finality to all of this if you don't get the job done. But certainly, that's never on our mind. Our mindset is to go out there and prepare to the best of your ability, and that with that comes that confidence.
Wes Hodgwitz.
Hey, Matt. Excuse me. Matt was asking a lot of the players yesterday about swagger and kind of, players that exemplify that. And basically to a man, they all said Jair. I know that's important. Confidence is important for any position, but his spot specifically, how big is that, the way he carries himself and just kind of his approach to that cornerback position?
Yeah, I think I like to call it swag, not swagger, but I just think that comes with it. It's that's a tough position to play. Every position is tough to play, but when you're out there one-on-one with somebody, and you got to have a short memory if somebody beats you on something. So I think that having that approach, that swag, it is a mentality. And like I said, it's a next play mentality, both when good things happen and if something bad were to happen. You got to be able to handle adversity in this league because there's so many great players, and everybody's going to get theirs every now and again. But it's that mentality to fight through and overcome.
Aaron Nagler.
Coach, over wildcard weekend, we saw a couple of coaches who are they're known for being pretty darn aggressive, in Vrabel and Tomlin, punt away in short yardage situations on fourth down. You yourself, Mr. All Gas, No Break, punted on 4th and 1 in the championship game last year. How much harder is it in a playoff setting when you're making that decision? I know in the past you've talked about using your gut, talking to the numbers guys, etc. How much does that ramp up the difficulty of that decision in a playoff game?
Yeah, I think it's always difficult. I think a lot of it is just, how confident are you in the ability to get it done, and who you're playing, how's your special teams playing, how's your defense playing. So I think there's a lot of factors that go into that, regardless whether it's a regular season game or a playoff type game. But certainly I think that we're always going to be pretty aggressive on that approach, but or at least we have been this year up to this point. So hopefully we can continue with that.
Tom Silverstein.
Hey, Matt. A nice day outside today. I'm going to test your memory a little bit. Do you remember the fourth preseason game in 2017 when you called plays? There's a lot of legend about how that went between you and Sean.
I want to know who you've been talking to.
You'll have to read my story on Saturday.
All right.
Regarding that, was that you've talked about being brothers. If you weren't brothers, could that have been a much tougher situation? And just as a follow-up, what did you learn from Sean in terms of calling plays?
Yeah, I do remember that. I want to say, were we here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, it was just a great opportunity that he allowed me to do that, and I think I had called it early in the year in like a second half of a game, but he might have second guessed a few calls here and there, but that's par for the course because I would always get him sometimes as well. But what was the second part of that question?
The other part was just what did you learn in terms of calling plays from him?
I think that there's so much. First of all, I think you got to have a great feel for your people, what your quarterback really likes, and then you got to trust yourself. You got to trust your gut. And one thing that I always admired about Sean is just his aggressive mentality, his aggressive approach, and he was always going to do things that put our team, in the best position possible. And so I think he's a hell of a play caller, and learned a lot of football from him.
Jason Wilde.
Hey, Matt. Nathaniel said yesterday he was talking about Rodgers and said that he had been a man on a mission all year. I'm just wondering what your observations had been of his demeanor since you got to see him. I know how much time you spent in the offseason on Zooms, but what have your observations been since you saw him in person all year?
Yeah, he's had a great approach. He's had a great attitude. He definitely is. He's our leader, and he does such a great job on a daily basis, making sure that everybody's on the details. He definitely owns the details, and it's been a lot of fun, this whole process, and we want to just keep it going.
Bill Huber.
Hi, Matt. The Rams just ruled out Wolford like a minute ago. This late in the game, does that news matter to you at all, or are you guys pretty well set?
I think there may be a few things. I'd have to go talk to Pet, but certainly I think we were pretty much preparing for Jared all week. So, it doesn't change too much.
Jason Wilde.
Hey, Matt, just to follow up on that details thing you said, you've mentioned a couple of times how low your mental mistakes have been in a bunch of games this year, too. In what ways have you seen that change? And that's got to feel, I don't know, Rodgers, the game plan, practices, what are the things that go into those going down? And how good have you felt as a head coach to see that? That's got to be great.
Yeah, it gives you a chance to go out there and be successful, and I think that's a credit to our players, just really owning the material. I think it starts with our coaching staff as well. I look at the job that Nathaniel Hackett's done, making sure that we stick to our core concepts. Sometimes we want to get a little more creative than we probably need to be, and he's done a hell of a job of just keeping us all on point. I think it speaks to the understanding of our staff, trying to really knowing the material and then being able to communicate that to our guys. But ultimately, it's about those guys in the heat of the battle, regardless of the circumstance, being able to take what we're asking them to do and then go apply it. So they've put a lot of work in, and we got a smart group of guys, and that always gives you a lot more confidence.
Aaron Nagler.
Coach, just wanted to follow up on something the line of questioning Spoon was asking about. Does Hackett ever get after you on game day about play calls? Do you guys ever have those kind of back and forths the way you and Sean did back in the day?
He better not, no. No. I think we're always pretty critical, and never in the heat of the battle, because you don't want to get somebody, mess with their head too much. I think there's a lot of communication on our headset, and I would be fooling everybody if I said it was just a one-man show there. It's a collective effort, and I mean that. Like, if somebody sees something, and this is what I love about our staff, is they don't hold back. And then it's, ultimately on me to decide whether or not we should go that route. But every one of these guys on offense has input, and they do a hell of a job. Definitely lean on these guys at all times throughout the week and on game day. And just really, really fortunate to be around such a number one, a great group of guys, but also guys that really dig and know what they're seeing. I totally trust what they're seeing, and it's definitely beneficial for us all.
Bill Huber.
Hi, Matt. You've been on the road with some of these limited crowd games. So can having 6,000 fans in your favor make a difference on Saturday?
Yeah, I guess we'll go out and find out. Certainly, I don't think it's going to hurt anything. The guys get excited the more people that are in the stands, and so I definitely think that the energy that you feel in the games where we have played in front of more people, that's real. And so hopefully everybody that comes to the game on Saturday is nice and loud for us and gets excited.
Jason Wilde.
Hey, Matt, I was over in Aaron Jones's Zoom, so if this was asked already, don't be too pissed.
How can I get mad at you, Jason?
I'm sure you can. So we were asking Aaron about his experience last year in the playoffs because he had never been to a playoff game before. You obviously coached in Super Bowls, et cetera, but not as the head coach. What did you learn from your playoff experience last year?